Jayson, you're the first guy I thought about because I knew you'd come up with some wild and wacky stuff about that ending.
Yeah, I think that is a compliment, Mike. That is my brand, right?
Okay. It's got you all written all over it.
Yeah, so since we do a stat of the week here every week,
yes,
I'm guessing you thought it might have something to do with inside the park walk-off homers, right? So, everybody who watches that play thinks of themselves, I don't know if I've ever seen that before. And that's my whole mission in life, to answer that question. So, Mike, here we go. First walk-off inside the park homer against the Phillies since 1946. Okay, Pete was it Riser of the Brooklyn Dodgers?
Pete Riser. Pete Riser. Yes,
there we go.
Absolutely.
All right, catchers. I knew you guys were already on this, but third walk-off inside the park homer by a catcher in the history of the sport, and the first in 99 years. First by a team that was trailing when the ball left the bat, since Angel Pagan did it for the Giants. That was 12 years ago, and if you watch the video, you can find it out there. Almost identical ball to almost an identical spot. So that was crazy. But here's my favorite tidbit on this. The first walk-off inside the park homer, easy for me to say, by any team that was trailing by 2 runs or more when the ball left the bat, since one of the legendary home runs in Phillies history, Bob Dernier, I know you remember him, Mike,
absolutely,
against the Giants, May 15th, 1989, at the Vet. I've posted this on both X and Blue Sky for people who want to hear the great
he dove across the plate, right?
Call.
Did he dive across the plate on that?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, it was a dive.
Yes,
I remember Bob Dernier, and I also remember he smoked a pack a day. Oh my! But that was beside the point. But now you're certifiably insane. That game ended at 12 midnight. You mean to tell me you're doing all this research after the fact to come up with this stuff today? That's the way your brain works?
That in the morning.
Oh, you did it in the morning? Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought you were going to stay up late at night to come up with all this stuff.
I'm not I'm not living now to post these little tidbits on X anymore.
Okay.
So,
all right.
You could wait till today.
So, Jayson, you and I were going back for a text a little bit. Now, I thought it was really peculiar that Max Kepler was not in the frame at all. Now, maybe he wouldn't have been able to stop it inside the park home run. But it seems to me that an outfielder would flow towards where the ball is, and he didn't. In fact, he came towards the infield more, and your theory was that you thought he was going to be a cutoff man of some sort?
You picked up on this. Nobody else really has, so very observant by you. I don't know if it changes anything. Here is my guess, and my guess is he's thinking, like everybody, that ball's out of here. That ball's out of every park in baseball except that one.
Yeah.
And if he was assuming that, then he's committed a violation just by assuming. What's the one thing you never do when you're in the middle of a sporting event? Assume what you think is going to happen. Play it out as if something else could happen. It might help.
Yeah.
And I think he got caught in the Bermuda Triangle, pretty much heading off the field, so he decided to set up and be a cutoff man. I don't know what else he could have done, because that schematic that I sent you, he does not move at all. He just starts drifting in.
It's really weird. You can't assume that was going to be a home run. I mean, he escaped blame in that whole thing. But
well, look, in his defense, he'd only started 4 games. Actually, he didn't start last night, so 5 games in that park in his life before last night, and that ball doesn't bounce that way anywhere else in the world that he's ever been.
Yeah.
Nevertheless,
yeah,
it's a mistake.
It's a crazy play to end the game. All right, let me talk. This is a very serious issue to me, as it should be for every Philly fan. The health of Bryce. Now, I'm looking at him, and it looks like he's got it in his head that's going to hurt. I haven't noticed the same type of confident swings since he's been back. What is your take on this whole thing with him playing the rest of the year with this?
Yeah, this is a big question, and I think he's the biggest X factor maybe in the league this year. First off, I don't know that we have seen the real Bryce at any point this season. I mean, right now he's obviously a mess. 4 for 22 with 10 strikeouts since he came back and no extra base hits. But even before that, Mike, we have not seen him consistently be able to hit the ball hard in the air to the pull side at any point. 4% pull rate on balls in the air this year. Unheard of for Bryce Harper. Now, he still hits the ball hard when he hits it, but he's seeing a ton of off-speed. He sees the fewest pitches inside the strike zone of any hitter in baseball. And one reason for that is he's chasing outside the zone at a rate that we've never seen him chase. So the upshot is he actually has fewer home runs this season than Cody Clemens has hit for the Twins since the Phillies DFA'd him. And if I had told you in March that would be the state of Bryce Harper on July 9th, would you have said you thought the Phillies would be in first place now?
No, it's pretty amazing that they are hanging in there with that. But, you know, for this long haul, they can't. I don't think they can do it with him at this kind of a level. But
he's got to be better.
Yeah, there's no question. And it looks like he's favoring it. He's not torquing as much as like he used to torque.
Yeah, we talked about this with Ray last week when you weren't here, but this is an interesting situation because he had the same thing last year. It came back. He never had surgery. He's admitted he still feels it to at least some extent. And the thing about Bryce is he's got the Tiger Woods hack. He takes twice as many really hard swings as the average hitter in the sport. So how impacted is a guy like that by a wrist issue? And does a wrist issue go away for a hitter like that?
It's a major point of contention. All right, let me get to this all-star snub thing because we've been talking about it. I think Turner got snubbed. The other two pitchers, maybe you can make a case. A guy that leads the league in hitting probably should be the third shortstop, or at least a position player. But there's a reason why you could justify these snubs, correct?
Well, I can explain it because nobody seems to understand how this team is selected. I understand why people are upset. It's a little bizarre that on the same day that the league announces the All-Stars, a team that fired its manager and general manager has as many All-Stars as the team leading that same division. But let me explain how the system works. This isn't a snub by the league. It's not a snub by Dave Roberts, who is managing the team. It's not a snub because somebody hates the Phillies. It's about a system that is messed up, that should be fixed. Almost the entire pitching staff now is chosen by the players. I mean, there's always going to be a couple of guys they have to jam onto the team, so every team has an all-star, which is another rule we could talk about. But the reason in particular that Christopher Sanchez and Ranger did not make the team is they were not in the top 5 starting pitchers in the players' vote. Then yesterday they have to replace Yamamoto because he's pitching Sunday. The reason Andrew Abbott is the first injury replacement and not those two Phillies is he had more votes from the players than Sanchez or Ranger. I like all of this is logical to a point. Here's the flaw in the system. You know when the players voted? It wasn't last week. If they vote last week, you get the best and most deserving players on the team. No, Trey Turner let this slip. It was 3 weeks ago. So that's why those two Phillies pitchers aren't on the team. It's why Trey is not on the team. It's why Juan Soto, who had an incredible June, was the player of the month, is not on the team. It's because the players vote too early. Their votes rule. The system needs fixing. And just because I hate this, we do not need to have an all-star from a team that's 50 games under 500 before the break.
That's a good point. Good point. Just leave it to the writers Let the writers select the guys, right? Forget the players.
Yeah.
All right. Last thing I want to talk to you about is Ranger Suarez, because we're getting a lot of, maybe they should keep him now. He's been so dominant, even though his velocity is down. The fact that he's got that back situation and velocity down, does that mitigate what Scott Boras can ask for him? And what do you think that price would be?
Are you familiar with Scott Boras?
Yes. That's why I ask you. So what's the price?
I don't think we can answer that question yet, but it's certainly going to be 9 figures. So I'm going to guess it's probably in Aaron Nola territory, right? Which is like
25 mil.
What, 172 million, right? It's going to be somewhere in that neighborhood. And Aaron Nola got paid because he always posted.
Yep.
Can you pay Ranger that money when you have no confidence that he will post 30 times?
That's interesting. Well, Boras will ignore that.
He will ignore that.
Yes, he will ignore that.
Guaranteed he'll ignore it. You know, there are teams out there, the Dodgers come to mind, just wrote about this the other day, that don't care about volume, that don't care how many times a guy posts. That signed Blake Snell, knowing he's not going to post, because all they want their pitchers to do is, when they actually get them to the mound, be great.
Yeah.
They prioritize stuff, quality, performance over any sort of volume. They don't care how many different starting pitchers they use. They don't care if anybody pitches enough innings to qualify for the ERA title. They're just hoping that in October they can line up the guys with the best stuff. There are teams that think that way. One of them will pay Ranger. I do not think that team will be the Phillies. It's the reason they traded for Jesus Luzardo. They've got Andrew Painter coming. That's what I see. I just don't see him being back.
All right. Sounds good. Now, Jason, before I let you leave, it is General Knowledge Wednesday. And we happen to be in the Shakespeare category.
I have no general knowledge of Shakespeare.
I think you do. So this is from the play Richard III, and the quote is, "My kingdom for a blank."
So blank is not the right answer?
Come on. You had Shakespeare in Syracuse, did you not? My kingdom for a blank.
It's like an animal?
It is an animal. My kingdom for a blank. A horse is correct, Jason. Nice job.
What do I win?
You win a general knowledge aquarium tickets. There you go.
Really?
Yes.
I get to go to the aquarium?
If you're picked at random at the end of the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not. There's no way you're picking me at random.
I've already told our producers you're ineligible. So thanks for participating, Jason. Always a pleasure.
I was going to win a horse.
You're going to win a horse. Thanks, man. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good, Mike.
There he is, the great Jayson Stark, joining us. 610-632-0975. We'll take a break. We'll come back. It is General Knowledge Wednesday. Did you know that one, Ray? My kingdom for a horse?
Not a shot.
My kingdom for a horse. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. Appreciate you guys checking out things with the Mike Missanelli Show. If you want more from us, check out the playlist right here to get this one. Check out all the playlists. There's a lot to watch.